Now, writing in London's Evening Standard, the journalist Rosamund Irwin has been trying to rescue the word spinster. She has said that far from it being a negative word, women should reclaim it. Why? Well, she says the term spinster no longer denotes a desperate woman who missed the boat, but sees it as a woman who simply made different choices other than being a wife and mother. A spinster is a strong woman who has refused to compromise by marrying the wrong man just to satisfy social convention. So is the word spinster something that you consider to be derogatory? Do you think we should change our views?
I think it's a terrible word. Spinster. It's just kind of spiteful.
It sounds dusty.
It sounds like everything's kind of shrunk and dried up. And,
Yeah.
and like, do you know what I mean? And you just imagine some little, poor little pinched thing with her hair in a bun who no one's been near for 50 years.
Actually,
horrible.
That's the association, because spinster could be a female PR person.
Oh,
yes,
that's true.
Yes,
That's true.
There's a new spin on that.
Yeah.
I think it's because...
On a more serious note, I think it might mean that nowadays, but I think it depends on the generation. Because if you're in your 70s, and I've been writing about this recently, because my mum is, I suppose, what you would call a spinster. She never married. I'm not married, so I'm a spinster. But there was a certain amount of trauma and shame attached to it as well, and it's something that women have had to overcome. So maybe if you are in your 30s, like the journalist that wrote that, then I guess you can turn around and say, it's my choice to live alone. But for a lot of women, it wasn't, and it just has really negative connotations.
That's not quite true, because when you get married, you are a spinster of this parish. Surely it meant that you were a virgin.
Well...
Which is difficult nowadays to find a spinster, really.
Some things are just, it's just some things are just too hard to upkeep in this day and
What we need is for Beyonce to reclaim it. All the single spinsters. All the single spinsters.
That's what we need.
I think that it is the word spinster, because it's a bit like incy-wincy spider.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it gets that connotation of cobwebs down in the, you know...
Exactly.
But I don't know whether we can reclaim it. I do think it belongs to fairy tales, and words like bindlestiff as well. Yes, bindlestiff.
Is that a word?
Yes. No, bindlestiff is the bag that Thingy had on...
Dick.
Dick
Whittington.
On his...
Carried away there.
It's the red spotty hanky, you know, it all belongs to all that. Anyway, I don't know whether we can make it fashionable or not, really. I think it's quite...
Hanky.
But don't you think
Yeah, that's a bindlestiff, with the goods in, yes.
Don't you think it's just
You
like...
learn something every day on
Yes,
Loose
you
Women.
do, guys. It's like branding. It's the worst kind... I hate this thing nowadays. You've got to be a brand. You've got to be in a box. You've got to have a title, and then you're so... You know, it's like Miss, Ms, Mrs, and it's like your age is always like a... It's like a terrible sort of prison number. Linda Bellingham, twice divorced, Oxo mum, 63. Hello?
But Jenny, you're not married either.
No,
Did you ever get your knickers in a twist about the idea of being a spinster, or were you just too busy getting your knickers in a twist?
That's why she's not married.
Spinster Claire, 42. All right. I never did that thing when I was younger of drawing my own wedding dress. I know little girls often do get quite obsessed about wanting to get married and live happily ever after, but I was born cynical, so I never got that thing at all. It doesn't bother me. I'd make the world's worst bride.
Being married to me isn't about the wedding. It's about... I mean, I feel like I am married. I've been with Paul 14 years. You know, we're committed in every other way.
Yeah.
So having the wedding is kind of the only thing.
I did. When I was a teenager, I used to worry that no one would fall in love with me because of that whole, you know, fairy tale thing. You know, I thought, well, what if that doesn't happen to me?
But
so the first person that asked me out, I
married
married him.
Every night. But every night someone could fall in love with you.
I thought my life would be a succession of one-night stands forever and ever and ever, to be quite honest.
Now, there's another word for that.
Oh, and they've been trying to reclaim that one as well.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. Or something.
Yeah.
So what, we should invent a new word then for
What do you think?
the spinster.
Bachelorette.
Well, you see, that's fun. That's interesting, isn't it? Because a man gets called a bachelor, and that has very different connotations.
Yeah.
What does a bachelor sum up to you?
They never say poor George Clooney, but they always say poor Jennifer Aniston.
True.
It's not
absolutely
fair.
true. Yeah.
Right, time for a break, but we'll be back very soon, and we'll be catching up with a lovely...